Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of Golden Age Superheroes with your old pal, Mr. J. So, before we get to the story, I got a little joke for you. Well, more like a life experience, I guess you could say. So, the other day I left the hospital and I was just absolutely shattered. I mean, pulling the plug on my aunt who lived with us for the past 15 years was the hardest thing I'd ever done. I mean, I had to wrestle a wife, 2 doctors, a nurse, and a security guy. Just like I like 'em. Tasteless. So, let's get on to the story. It's called Hell Hath No Fury, starring the Golden Age superheroine, Miss Fury. Let's take it away.
Hell Hath No Fury by Brent Beebe. I used to be somebody. Not like in the Marlon Brando on the waterfront sense. Really somebody in real life. Miss Fury. That wasn't the first name they gave me. At first, it was Black Fury. That one was just too much superhero, I thought, so I corrected them. Told them it was Miss Fury. Sure was a bit on the nose, as if you saw me, it was pretty obvious that I was female. But I don't know, I guess that one felt just more me. I grew up rich, so let's get that out of the way. It wasn't such a big thing in the 40s, you know. Well, it may have been, but we didn't have Twitter or anything, so I didn't think anything of it. Although, despite my somewhat lavish lifestyle, I wasn't a bad person. I was perhaps a bit arrogant. Oh, hell, I was a spoiled little rich girl. But it all changed the night I put that damn panther skin on. Though to call it a skin makes it sound rather obscene. It was more like a jumpsuit kind of thing made from panther skin. Again, it was the 40s. If you want some kind of comparison, think of that comic book harlot, Catwoman. And that's all we're going to say about that. Well, perhaps one more thing. I looked fucking sexy in it. Modesty is not always the best policy. Wink, wink. Anyway, after I put it on, it was for some party of all things, I felt powerful. Not in the sense I knocked down a tree or anything. It was more like... No, powerful's not the right word. That's a man's word. I prefer assured. Like it was where I belonged. Though, of course, at the time, I just thought I was hot. Figuratively and literally. So, on the way to that party, I see this car, and it's parked on the side of the road. It wasn't an accident or anything, it was just parked. I slow down, and this moron jumps out from somewhere and comes at me with a gun in his hand. I mean, he wasn't pointing it at me, at least not yet. And I didn't plan on giving him the chance. So he runs up, starts screeching about something, and I throw my door open. It hits him, and he falls back, hits his head on the ground, and he's out. I'd never done anything violent before. Not to say I was a timid person or anything. I was rich, after all. I also never had a gun pointed at me, so perhaps I would have done the same thing with or without that outfit. But what I think was something different, the speed in which I reacted. He came at me, then he was on the ground. Throwing open the door never occurred to me. I suppose you might say I used cat-like reflexes. That's about the extent of my sense of humor, so don't expect any more of those zingers. Anyhow, to make a long story short, I check the guy's wallet, and he's a cop. Then another guy comes out, starts to thank me for, springing him. I had no idea who he was then. Now I know his name was Killer Dawson. Not his Christian name, I'm sure. He starts to get into my car, and this time I actually thought about what was going on. I thought, who the hell is this guy, and where's he taking my car? Oh my, I did promise to make a long story short, and I don't think I've succeeded. I was quite the social butterfly after all. So he jumps in, screams, "Hit the gas, bitch!" So I hit the gas, and his head hits the dashboard. He's out cold. I was only doing what he told me to do. Now I got 2 knocked out guys. I handcuff 'em together, get the cops, and that was the first of my many adventures. I need to talk about the costume. Remember, I just put it on because I didn't have anything to wear for the party, and I mentioned about how it made me feel. Truth is, and I was warned about this before I wore it, it had some kind of curse. Only a real witch doctor was supposed to wear it. Not really a curse, but you get me. I was told, with every favor gained through black magic, get 2 misfortunes. I learned just how true that was. Only wore the thing a handful of times despite my public image. Sure, there was some cool stuff about it. Gave me claws, enhanced senses, and other superhero stuff. And boy, I sure loved the rush they gave me. Even just wearing the thing gave me the shivers. And when I used the powers, I felt powerful. Yeah, I said it. Powerful. Only every time I captured some bad guy, foiled a robbery, or anything while wearing the suit, it got me back, like I was told, twice as hard. Lost friends, money, got hurt a couple times, and, well, I'll get into that later. Time marches on. It's around World War II, and like just about every 2-bit cape, we're either running around Europe or doing anything we can stateside to fight the Razzies. Plenty to do for all of us. Remember the cop I told you about? Detective Dan Carey. Swell guy. We worked together on a few things. He fell for me hard. I kind of liked him, too. We had a nice fling during the time. Mostly without the suit. Although there was this one time. Had myself a little rogue gallery. Let's see. There was... I'm getting up in years, so the memory isn't what it was. Oh, yeah. Miguel Rico. Real sleazebag. Made money off of selling weapons to the other side. This guy, he finds my outfit, puts it on, and tries to pass as me. Guess I should say the thing would mold itself to whomever wore it. Otherwise, he wouldn't have had the figure for it. There was a few more. General Bruno Bites. This guy was a real Nazi. Used acid on people. Pretty bad guy. And another was, Whiffy. He was interesting. Top-tier gangster. Ruthless as they come. And he liked to dress in drag. I'm going to let you in on a secret. He made it look like it was some kind of character thing, except he also did the underwear and stockings. Kind of unnecessary for a guy just doing it for shtick, don't you think? But the best and worst thing to come of this. Should I start with the good news or bad? Let's do bad. Remember how I told you about that bad luck from the outfit? Turns out one of them was I couldn't have kids. Who knows? Maybe I never could, but Dan tried to understand. At least I did some good for the sacrifice, right? Let's move on to the good news. I was fighting the scientist, Diman Sarif. Probably the worst guy I fought. Dan gets this tip about some top-secret Nazi experiments. Big deal, right? It seems like that's all those Nazis did back then was do experiments. Until we get to his lab. His experiment, it involved a child. I forget what it was. Probably on purpose. Don't worry, we stopped him. That, however, was just the overture. I fell for that kid like a man in quicksand. He was a darling. Think I got a picture here somewhere. Look at him. I tried to adopt him, but got denied. Me being a single woman and all. I did have enough money, but times being what they were, so I got denied. The first time, the second, third, and fourth. But 5th time's the charm. Named him Darren. Hell of a kid. Got my friend Francine to be his governess. She lost her job in the factory when all our boys came back from the war. She never knew about the Miss Fury thing. In case you didn't get it, I'm a little long in the tooth. Rawr! Suit's in storage. Dan's gone. Darren visits once a month. Wouldn't let him do it any more than that. Gotta cut those apron strings sometime. I'm not really remembered much. Still got some money, enough to keep me going a few more years. I didn't exactly look for fame with all the Miss Fury stuff. Maybe a little. But it kind of stings when you get at that point when, please, I should be perfectly happy with my life. But I was thinking, maybe give the suit one more spin. Oh, almost forgot. When I really got my hackles up, I added some spiked heels to the ensemble. Nothing works at getting a bad guy to give up like a high heel on the neck.
So, hope you liked that story. If you want to hear more, just like, subscribe, and most of all, leave a comment so we know what you think. Although, who really gives a shit?